New news is always good news, and sometimes old news can be good news too. We got another edition of Palace News for you all. Eddie Nketiah, has he been the number one target all along for the striker position? Yes, no. What are your thoughts? We're gonna find out. And more connections with Matheus Franca from Flamengo. Is he gonna come? Is this gonna happen? Like, what's going on? I don't know. We'll talk about it. But we got another edition of live Palace News right on the other side of the white. Yo, what it is, what it's gonna be, what it should be. It's your man T for another edition of Palace News, and I'm joined by this time my man AJ. AJ, what's going on, man?
Good evening, sir. We are good. We are good.
Yeah, so you
How
got,
is life in America, mate?
like you said, man, if similar to what's going over there, it's rainy, man. It's rainy today over
Ugh.
here, man. So, trying to get through that. But you got a brave night ahead of you, man. You gotta, try to get to bed early and wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning, try to watch the match, apparently, man.
Dedicated, mate. Dedicated. Oh, I'm gonna have to figure it out. I think it's gonna just have to be try and get a couple hours sleep, set the alarm, and then just jump straight to bed straight after. That's the only way this is gonna fly. Otherwise, boy, I want to see some goals. I want to see a performance. Otherwise, I ain't gonna be happy. Like
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be happy.
absolutely not.
So you gotta make it. They better make it worth my while.
No, man,
Seriously.
I remember back in the days when I used to live in Seattle, man. But that time changed. I had to be up at like 4 or 4:30 for the match to start. So I was getting up super early to watch the matches and stuff, man. Which was crazy. But it's all dedication at the end of the day, man. All dedication at the end of the day. So what's up to everybody that's in the chat, man? First and foremost, do not forget, like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate everything that you all do each and every week for us, man. We're gonna get straight into it with the first topic that we got going. First of all, Mike, what up, man? How you doing, bro? Appreciate you being here with us, man. So the first bit of news, or like I said, new news, old news, I guess you just call it news, but in this situation, it comes about Eddie Nketiah. So it's being said that Crystal Palace have identified him as being the number one target to lead the line for us, and apparently Arsenal won't let him go for any less than £40 million. Apparently, Mikel Arteta actually really loves Eddie, but he won't stand in his way if he wants to seek greener pastures and more game time elsewhere. And that was from, I believe, now Arsenal, who originally put that one out. Now, here's my thing. First and foremost, £40 million for a backup striker. You paying that?
Nope. Just no. There are a few players out there that we just seem to constantly get linked with, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd put Sarr in there, very similar to Nketiah as well. It's just names that won't go away now.
Oh yeah, what's the dude's name? Umar Naasi.
Oh God.
Jesus.
So it just the thing is with Nketiah, I saw him when he came into the squad for Arsenal last season, and he just couldn't get over the line for them. Like, remember, with all the chances that they create in that Arsenal team, he's not smashing 10, 15, 20 goals for them. So in a squad where he's going to have less chances and less opportunities, he's not going to get that many goals. I just feel like he's just going to get a British version of Mateta and Edouard, really. If we're going to go and spend that amount of money, why don't you just top up a little 5 million on top of that and go get Balogun anyway?
Yep.
I just think it's just not for the money. If we got him in a bargain, then I'd be a little bit more open to him. So I don't know, like 10, 15 million pounds, I would have been like, he's a little bit different. But for 40 million Great British pounds sterling,
it's a lot.
Eddie Nketiah, come on, bro.
Nah.
Arsenal are trolling us. Like, Like they're trolling us at this point.
That I don't know what it is about English teams and their evaluation on players, but it's absolutely freaking ridiculous. Like, and it makes me think. I think the two valuations that stand out to me as the most absolutely absurd and ridiculous right now are Eddie Nketiah and Conor Gallagher. Those are the two, like 40, 50 million for these guys is outrageous. It's robbery, bro. It's robbery.
But then do you know the beauty of that exact scenario? I'm hearing Anderson's worth 30 million. I'm hearing Gay's worth 50 million. I'm hearing Elise's worth 39 million.
McTominay.
Come on, bro.
McTominay
like,
for $40 million. 40
stop
million.
trolling. Like, this ain't like that. Listen.
You don't want him to
just
sell.
Gonna make me go mad.
You don't want him to sell, man.
Get out of here, man. Like, come on, bro. Like, even Arsenal have to be reasonable here. Because, listen, we're talking about the same man that got loaned to Leeds when they were in the Championship and couldn't even get into the team.
And he couldn't get into the team.
And you think he's worth £40 million 12 years later after a couple of bang average performances?
And we're talking
because it's not to say at Arsenal he's not been given a chance. He has.
And we're talking about an undersized striker who can't play in the air. Can't play in the air. He's a great finisher. He's an accomplished finisher. I mean, and I think isn't he like the all-time leading scorer for the
under
21s or something like that, just underage England side, which is, I guess, commendable. But
I mean, it's cute when you're playing Andorra under 21s and Greece under 21s. Like, you know what I mean? Like, anybody could look half decent.
Henry makes a good point here. Yes, if I do recall correctly from what the timeline everything was saying, yeah, he rejected us and decided to re-sign with Arsenal.
And there's also a hidden conundrum there as well. He's on 100 grand a week there.
Yeah,
he's gonna want more money than that when he comes to Palace, you know.
Yeah, and
like that ain't it, mate. That just ain't it. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but nah, that's a lazy option. That's not thinking outside the box. That's not creative enough for me. I think we need to be a bit smarter than that.
And here's
excuse me.
Like, we talk about, like, I was looking at a tweet and it was showing every single Premier League club's most expensive signing. Ours, for anybody that's wondering, Christian Benteke, and it was like, I believe 32 million. 31 million, something like that. I couldn't imagine Eddie Nketiah then becoming our record signing. Our record signing was a backup striker who had a goal assist of 5 the year before.
I think the only thing I can even look at him and think to myself is he's got room to improve and he's got room to grow and he's got the youth on his side. But £40 million is just too much money, man. For a player like that, nah. I don't hate the idea because I do think we need something different in the striking department. The thing that just winds me up about this idea is it's the price and the salary.
Yeah, it's too much. I mean, on both sides, because one side of it would almost be unaffordable for a player of his caliber. I'm not paying you $100 million, $100,000 a week, and I'm also not paying for you. I'm not paying $40 million for you either. So it's like it's two sides to it.
I just feel like there are other strikers out there we could get. I mean, the amount of free strikers we've probably missed out in over the summer already, that's obviously one conundrum, but for £40 million, I think we could just think a little bit outside the box. If we're going to go get another striker and we insist on not paying, let's say, the money for Balogun, example, then think a little bit outside the box a little bit. Get somebody else a little bit different.
Man, I'm going to go
get Amando Broja. He's just sitting on Chelsea's bench doing nothing.
I mean, there's a lot of guys that you can get that are out there. I mean, I'd go and get the big guy from Udinese, Beto. I go get the kid from Gent, Gift Orban. I'm gonna try and get Joe Pirro from Swansea City. Like, there's in all of these guys I just mentioned, you're probably spending 20 million or less for. comparatively to a guy like Eddie Nketiah, who. And here's the thing about Eddie Nketiah too. You don't know if you're buying potential or if you're buying someone that's actually at their ceiling. You feel what I'm
For
saying?
£40 million, man, I need established goal scoring ability for that kind of money. I need somebody that I know is coming into the team and is banging 10, 15 goals a season minimum. They're taking liberties with that price, man. That's not
I'd
serious. I'll
rather
tell you
put
what,
my
another
crippled
very
grandma
left
up for
field,
it for free than Nketiah.
another left field striker option, Andrea Belotti. He's just
Yep.
jamming on Roma's bench. You think if you flung £20 million
Belotti
at Roma,
free. He's free now. I thought.
Did they release him?
He might be, or did he join them on the free? He joined them on the free. But yeah, even still, he's not playing.
He doesn't play. He's not getting the games. Bring him. Guaranteed goals. And he's proven.
Yeah. And
you know, this is the thing. This is probably why a very sore subject to touch on, but this is probably why Wilf left. Because the club's not showing any ambition. We need to just be a little bit, Spock's a bit more clever than this.
He scored goals when Jesus was hurt in the beginning. In the beginning, he scored goals, and then it dried up. Because if you remember, Jesus was out for a significant amount of time. Significant. And Nketiah, I'm gonna look it up here. He only had a decent amount of goals. I remember when he first got hurt, Eddie Nketiah in 30 matches last season. If you had to guess, how many goals he scored in 30 matches last season in the Premier League?
6.
4 in 30 matches.
And you think he's coming to Crystal Palace to do what?
And he had 6 matches in Europa League and scored 2 goals. All said, he scored 7 goals last season, and that was across 37 competitions.
But you want to convince me this man's worth £40 million?
37 appearances.
Nah, keep it moving. Think a little bit more outside the box than this, boys. We can do better. I'd rather go get back Benteke for £1 million, or I'd rather go get Jamie. I could pick out
that was actually Earth
bag of
Extremities
strikers
that said that. I got that incorrect, but Earth Extremity said that. But I don't know. My thing is, like, when he first came in, he was scoring. He scored some goals, but
yeah, he scored some goals.
He leveled off, and then not to say that they started playing, because I think they did have a dip. I think that was around the time they started having a little bit of dip that kind of led to them ending up losing the title run. But it's one of those things where, like, if that's your case, then I guess you're thinking about longevity and you're thinking about consistent level of play. I mean,
the thing is,
30 appearances and 4 goals.
This is the thing. League? People like no, that's not bad. That's a bit bad mind to tarn him that way. But Extremities is trying to lay this point that he scored goals.
Mm-hmm.
It's context. Yes, he scored goals. Elise scored goals last season, but he scored 2.
And that was like 2 less.
Context.
And that's 2 less.
Exactly. Context, bro. Use like £40 million and £100,000 a week. Let's be sensible about this, boys. Come on, man. Come on. We can think a bit smarter than this. Mm-hmm. I'd rather spend double. I'd rather spend that on getting the 2 wingers and then just power through getting with Mateta and bloody Edouard for another season, if that's the case. We've got to be a little bit smarter than that. Nketiah ain't the answer. And the fact he's rejected us as well. We need to be a little bit more... we need to respect ourselves a little bit here.
Yeah, I think part of it, man, it doesn't make sense. Like, in what we're thinking about, and in bringing in a guy like Eddie Nketiah, we are then going against what we've seen to be in recent past our recruitment techniques, our recruitment policies, so to speak. We want to get young talent, but we want to get them at a fair price, a very reasonable price. Going out and spending $40 million on Eddie Nketiah completely crushes that, because it's obvious that we ain't got a whole lot of money to deal with right now. Because if we did, we would have been making moves right now, and it would have been if we wouldn't have been waiting. We were now approaching a whole month since we were first linked with Matheus Franca, and nothing's happened. If money wasn't,
something's a bit going on a bit weird with that deal. I don't know what's going on with that, but that deal was going on.
Talk about something. I'm gonna hold on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and transition into that right now. So, the other piece that the other report that came out today was that it is believed, and I say believed, that Crystal Palace have a chance to see an agreement be made with Flamengo for Matheus Franca, and the sources close to the club are expecting the fee to be agreed this week, possibly. Should Palace sign Franca, they would look to go back into the market for another winger before the end of the window. That was reported by the Eagles Beak, who I am not familiar with, but that was I saw that originally via Twitter. And like I said, we transitioned into this conversation, but I mean, if I'm being personally honest, and I put this out there for people to digest and consume and respond to via Twitter, I don't think this Franca deal is going to happen. This is just me personally. I don't see it happen. It's just, like you said, it's a bit weird. It's played out for a little bit too long at this point.
I think I'm going to stick with the same narrative. I think he's unproven. So if you make him the next signing, then I definitely agree with the narrative that you need to get another winger who's going to be a bit more of a guaranteed starter rather than relying on him to come in and play, I don't know, left wing or right wing, if obviously with the Elise injury, because I think he'll be too much for him. Like I've said beforehand, he's not even. I don't even think the age is an issue, because nowadays we are seeing a lot of elite talent coming out and breaking out at a younger age.
Yes,
the issue I have is he doesn't
it and showing it. He doesn't have a body of work yet.
That's what my gripe is about it, because obviously, has the kid even done 90 minutes yet? Do we know that?
He's every time I've seen him, like I can look up his stuff, but everything I've seen from him has been in substitute appearances. And with that being said, then you're buying on potential. And when and then
trying to transition him into the Premier League as well is a bit crazy. So if we do that,
how many times have you seen these purchases where teams are going out and getting these young Brazilian guys like this young, and they're actually stepping into the first team?
Yeah, because at least with an Endrick or a Neymar and these kind of players, they were playing week in, week out, and they were scoring. Well, not even the fact they were scoring; they were playing week in, week out, and they were generating figures.
They bought Endrick with the fact of bringing him in 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Because
exactly. 16. So by then he'll be elite. So
you know what I'm saying? Manchester City bought Paykai. Paykai hasn't seen the field for Man City yet.
You know it's a hard one with him. If we get him and then we get another winger, that's enough for me.
So far in the Brazilian Serie A this year, he's made 9 appearances. Of those 9 appearances, he has started 3 matches. He has started 3 of the right at 3 of the 9. And he hasn't played 90 minutes yet. The most he's played is 76. And he has 1 goal. What else do we have here? He's got 3 appearances in the Copa Libertadores with 1 goal and 1 start.
Okay, so it's potential. I mean, 25 million for potential from Brazil. I just really hope I'm proven wrong on this one.
But I mean, he's not a day in, day out starter.
Yeah,
he's not putting up significant numbers to this point.
I mean, I trust Dougie, and if he's put that kind of time and effort into this kid, there has to be something about him. There definitely has to be something about him. But yeah, that doesn't ring confidence. Is he going to be able to come into the squad and replace Elise or replace Zaha? Let's be honest, probably not.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we need to be a little bit more sensible in terms of what we're bringing into the actual squad, what we need right now, because we need a squad that is ready. Because the thing is, all this faffing around and taking time just takes time out of that blending into the team. The Premier League
Because we're
starts in what,
focusing on
3 weeks?
we're only focusing on one player at a time. Like I feel like as a major professional team, we should be able to focus on more than one player at one time. I mean, I feel like
See, I swear the league starts in 3 weeks, mate. Like what?
3 weeks, 3 weeks.
And we've brought in one new player and lost 3 first-team players.
We brought in one new player literally the first week of the transfer window too.
Do you know? I feel like we're going to be fine, but being fine ain't really cutting the mustard right about now for a lot of. Based on the summer and the kind of BS we've had to put up with, man, they need to show us something. That's where we're at now, man. I think
because like, does being fine mean that you're pushing for top 10?
Being fine could finish 17th for us. Let's be honest.
Especially with the numbers and the quality in our squad. I think that's the biggest issue right now is we don't have a lot of squad depth at all right now. I mean, you look at the team that's traveling to the U.S. that's here right now. You got a lot of young guys that are a part of that team that's trying to make it, and you would think that at this point, a trip of this caliber, this later in the process, talking about late June, you probably want to see the majority of your first team guys on that trip. And there's still a lot of young guys on that trip that more than likely probably wouldn't be playing for us in other circumstances.
Well, maybe it's a chance for them to maybe step up.
I mean,
maybe this could be a twisted.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a twisted blessing in disguise. I mean, I've seen it over the years when our squad was torn apart in the championship days and emerged young Wilf, emerged young Johnny Williams, Parsons and Condogans and Sean Scannells and players like that. So you don't know.
You don't.
They might keep Gordon and Ratsaki and I'm missing one, Hamada around the squad. So it could be a bit of a blessing in disguise. But if we're being realistic and practical, we do need a few more in. I think we need at least another 2 or 3 more players just to even show what we're about.
So talking about your comment here, yes, the window shuts for Brazil next week. However, they can still move players out. They just can't bring anybody else in once their window shuts. And yes, Michael Olise was 19. But what did we do with Michael Olise when he first came in? Michael Olise
didn't break into the team straight away. It took him a couple of months.
Straight away. What we're saying is right now with our current team setup, we don't have a starting caliber left winger right now. So with what we need to be doing in the window and the person that we bring in, they need to be able to step into that first team lineup. You know what I mean? And that's just not the situation right now. And we don't have that. Mitch, that's a good question too right here. We don't know what the work permit situation. I would hope that with all of this that they're doing, with all this time and effort that's being spent into this, he's going to be able to come in and play right away. For us.
How is he going to qualify for a work permit? Because the whole thing is they have to play a certain percentage of games. How does that work?
A certain percentage of games. I think it's going to help him because he's played in the Copa Libertadores and things like that, because those are considered international competitions.
Fair enough.
So
cool.
So I think there's some things with that. I think there's some things with that. But like my thing is, I hope that we wouldn't be putting in all this effort into a player that we would then have to turn around and loan out right away.
I mean, ideally, we want to be getting something over the line before the weekend's out, and then get one more next week. And then maybe into the deadline day, maybe pull in a loan or something like that. It's very wishy-washy and a lot of speculation right now. And we shouldn't really be at the speculation stage. We should be on the
we need to be making
players holding up shirts, meeting their new teammates stage.
Yeah.
How are we on tour and bringing one new player, considering we lost so many? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Yanto apparently is being linked with Everton. They trying to throw out 20 million to Leeds for him. DeMar Gray's an option for us there. I really like the Somerville dude. I do. I'm not a fan of Che Adams. I think he's more of what we already have. I think he's more of what we already have as far as a possible center forward who's not converting on goals. And you know, if this was true, I feel like it should have been done by now, man. If it was 17 for him, I think I feel like that should have been done. That's why I agree with AJ in saying that it feels weird, because if that's what's all it would take, 17 plus some incentives, we should have had that signed and sealed by now. You know, I don't know. Looney says Damari Gray and Nketiah will be ideal. The thing about that, Looney, is if we get Damari Gray and Nketiah, that means we're spending 50 something plus million on those two guys, man.
Actually, Looney, I normally love what you got to say, actually, and I definitely love listening to you talk and stuff.
Personally.
But
I don't feel like that's it.
I'm not feeling an Nketiah thing, bro. I can't agree with you on that one. And actually, while we're on the subject, I owe Looney an apology because he brought up a very fair point about Hakan Suko, the Hakan Suko joke I bring up the other day, and he was politically correct there. So I owe him an apology for that one as well. But no, I'm not feeling Nketiah, man. Damari Gray, I would have. Like, I've been watching him in the Gold Cup, and he's looked really, really good. I think the thing that frustrates me with Damari Gray,
his value up right now.
But the thing that winds me up about the Damari Gray situation is they got him for like 1.8 million, and the fact that we'd have to pay 15 after a year, that just leaves a bit of taste in my mouth, man.
Yeah, that's why, like I said it the other day when I was hosting solo prior to Patrick joining me. Like they originally put out that 14 million euros thing, and it's like, man, they got him for 2 mil. Has he played well enough to 7 times the amount of what they got him for? Nah, I'm not there with that. I gave you between 6 and 8 for him to where y'all turning a profit, but I don't know. Like, I think that the 10.5 that was being talked about might be my absolute most that I'd be willing to go for him for, to be quite honest.
I just need to start seeing signings, man, to kind of make me feel a little bit more comfortable going into this, going into the season, because as it stands right now, we're looking a bit dire. And it's not to say we've gone on tour and taken a lot of youth players. We've taken, 3 or 4? So, which I do think those 3 or 4 that went into pre-season definitely deserve their chances and have definitely got the potential. But there's at least a couple of more I would have liked to see take the tour, but obviously we don't know what's going on behind the scenes and all the rest of it. So I don't know, man. I feel like we need to see a few more, man, come through, get over the line. We just need to push it.
Yeah, because even if, like, okay, I feel like right now we're talking about certain positions where, like, in particular left wing, where you want to find a starting caliber player. I think that's the one position out of all the need that we have right now where we absolutely 100% need to find a starting caliber player, because we absolutely don't have it. I mean, we could put Jordan Ayew over there, which, I think the value above replacement is pretty easy there. But I definitely would want to see us get a starting caliber player in at left wing. If we had to go forward with the 2 center forwards that we have for 3 or 4 months until we can get to the winter window, cool. But I wouldn't want us to have to do that with the left wing spot right now.
Yeah, we definitely need to. A winger is a minimal requirement, and I'd still walk out at the end of the beginning of the season I think I'm anxious. I think the problem is I'm just looking at this squad, I'm looking at the issues, and I know we're 1 or 2 injuries or 1 or 2 bad days away from having an absolute crisis. Because yes, I do think we are bet there are 3 teams, 4, maybe even 5 teams that are worse than us. So I don't feel like there's a relegation talk and all the rest of it. But you know what? With the window creeping up on us, those teams can improve. And all it has to do is us have a couple of bad days.
And it's a lot.
And we're looking over our shoulders.
It's hard to name a team right now that's in the Premier League that isn't improving with the moves that they've made this summer. When you think about the guys they brought in, I mean, even at the lowest level, we talk about Luton. Like, Luton has improved.
Yeah, they bought 3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, and they've brought in some loan players too that are going to help them out. So I just feel like I think that we're going to end up doing some loan work at the very end of this window. very similar to what we've seen at the end of windows in the past. And I mentioned this one, and Patrick mentioned it too. I just hope that if we do these late loan agreements in the window, that they come with some type of buy option obligation.
Nah, that's
Because
too much common sense. We won't do that.
yeah, I mean, you would think so. It makes too much sense. It's not going to happen
Nah, it's too sensible.
because the minute that we start renting players, that's just I feel like that's more of a characteristic of a team that's just trying to stay up. You know what I mean? And I feel like we should be positioned to be beyond that stage.
Yeah, we need to get something going, man. It's looking very dire right now, and I think we got some more cooking to do.
Yeah,
I do like the idea of Somerville. You know,
I do.
I really do like that.
like him.
I like him. He's good. You know,
I like him. I like him a lot. And they talked about the price probably being like around that $10 million amount. I'm really paying that. I'm paying that and not looking back.
Whoever whip round that sellers, man, I'll stand outside East Corridor Station with a bucket. We can get that, man.
Like
we can get that, man.
For and he's only what 21 years old, I do believe. Like
yeah, I think he's Dutch as well, isn't he?
Yeah,
very good.
Dutch. And that fits our dynamic of how we're trying to do our business. You know what I'm saying? Like, and who you talked about earlier, who I was honestly my number one guy is Callum Hudson-Odoi. Like that's who I would want personally, especially with the prices that's being quoted for him. The fact that he's only got 1 year left on his contract, therefore, the price is probably gonna be a little bit less. We talking about a guy like Odoi for $10 million, man. That's low risk. And possibly really, really high reward. Because if he can get himself back on track, he's only 22 years old. We talking about a guy who at one point was one of the most heralded young guys in Europe. You know what I'm saying? For $10 million,
we got to bite the bullet and do something. Otherwise, we're going to start looking at a crisis.
Yeah. And then I mean, and this is a great point too. Brought up by Jamal, and I'm playing off of this in a different way, is the fact that we're not even talking about the fact that we're going to be going without our starting right winger to begin the season for at least possibly 2 months, because they're saying that Elise might not be ready until October. So
I don't think Elise is leaving, for the record. By the way, I'm not convinced he's leaving. Not this season, anyway.
Yeah, I don't think he's
maybe
leaving.
next summer.
I think the issue is more about the fact that we have to be worried about him not being available and us having to fill in on the right side, not having him for the first 2 months of the season, and that's an issue that haven't even really discussed yet.
Don't worry, we got IU, we got Schlupp.
Schlupp, on a one-footed Schlupp. He can only use the left foot. I mean, I don't know.
But he can run into people and lose the ball in the wing. Don't worry about it.
I would love to see either the rise of Jez Roxaki, or the person that I'm really high on, that I'm really happy about, and I hope long may continue, is Ahamada. I think Ahamada is a player. I think he's got a lot to give us, and he's obviously showing us that he can do that right side, play that right side. It's kind of like that wing fielder role that Roy used with Eze on the left side when Eze first came to Palace. So he seems like he's doing a pretty good job. So
plus we got Eze's brother anyway, man. He can come and fill in as well. Don't worry about it.
Gaurav has said it a couple of times that he can start on the left wing.
Oh yeah, he knows.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for real. Yeah, so we gonna wrap up here in a second. Let's take some more stuff. He said, "I'm with T. I love that Callum kid. He can play." Gaurav says we're linked with Odoi, Laporte, Ruben Vargas, Franca, and Somerville. Yep.
Let me diplomatically put this out there. We are not signed Eric Laporte. It's just
and then
come on, man.
He scored a goal in the preseason too. I saw he scored a goal in the preseason. I was like, oh yeah.
I know for a fact, right? We managed to get Sacco and Benteke out of nowhere back in the day, right? Mm-hmm. But we're not getting Laporte.
And
no way.
Compared it to that too. People compared it to that.
I mean,
it's like, how did that work out for us?
I'll tell you what, right? If we buy Laporte, if we buy Laporte, I'm going to buy one of the new shirts with his name on the back. That's how convinced. It's just not going to happen.
For me, looking at what he wrote here, if you can give me 2 out of the 3 of Odoi, Vargas, and Somerville, I'm with it. If you can give me 2 out of those 3, whether buy, loan, whatever, I'm good with that for sure. Let's see. If we lose Elise and Gahey or Anderson, it's a crisis for sure. And I'm hoping that they're smart enough to know that we don't need to do that. Get a decent Wolf replacement and keep Eze and Elise, and I will honestly be content. Yeah, I mean, if
I feel like we need to be a step above ambitious than that, because I don't understand why we wouldn't be able to keep Elise or Eze. We're not obligated to sell any of the 2 of them unless the obviously the figures are astronomical.
Right.
What we need to do is give them new contracts and build the squad around them. That's what we need to be doing.
Yeah, that's definitely something that we should be looking into doing. I feel like what Samuels is trying to say here is where we stand right now. If we can afford to get a good replacement for Wilf while making sure that we maintain those guys, that puts us in a good situation. Because here's the thing, and then this is how I feel about where we are and how we operate. If we are to lose anybody else from this current squad, that's an important player. So if we're to lose one of those center backs, or we're to lose Elise, we're in big trouble because we're not going to replace them in this window. That is the biggest issue for me. That's the biggest worry for me. It's not the fact that we have guys outgoing. It's the fact that we struggle with getting guys coming back in. A la the replacement for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, which has never come. The fact that we still only have one true left back on our team. The fact that Wolf is now gone and we still are dragging our feet on bringing in a replacement. When you're seeing teams that are on the verge of losing players, a la a Fulham, who are on the verge of possibly losing Mitrovic, they already got his replacement and he ain't even gone yet. That's business. And they got Jimenez for $5 million. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. So I think the thing that worries me the most about our club is the fact that if we were to lose another key element, another key player, we're not going to replace them in this window. And that's the thing that would worry me the absolute most.
Agreed.
And George said, I think we're doing a good job of monitoring for potential replacements should we need them, i.e. Schurz, Laporte. But that's at a position that is only possibly we could.
It's not even a priority. It's not even
have a left winger right now. We don't have it right now. We got 3 starting quality center backs, and we're talking about possible guys that we could bring in if we lose one. But we don't have a left winger, and we still aren't bringing anybody in.
Yeah, agreed.
You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that, Henry. Appreciate that, Mitch. You know, I mean, the thing is, I mean, it shows good business acumen when you are doing moves like that. And that's why the teams that we're seeing getting guys in, get guys out, replacing guys, they the ones that's pushing top 10. This is why Fulham got a top 10 finish. This is why Brighton got inside the top 10. It's why teams like Brentford are inside the top 10, because they do good business. And they have an understanding of how their business is going to go in the event of certain transactions taking place. Dog, we almost in August. Wilf was out of it was almost before Wilf made the announcement. It was almost a month that he had been out of contract with us.
I reckon they were too confident he was going to sign.
That's stupid. That is bad.
So what my hope is,
bad business.
What my hope is that has sent a rocket straight up Steve's arse, and now he's going to pull his finger out.
Man,
because that embarrassment,
he should be knee deep in some moves right now. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
There's nothing and no indication of anything that's coming close to completion for us right now. And that's just the truth of the matter.
I'm just hoping that there's a bit of a chain reaction or a cannon event for Mr. Parrish, and he starts getting the ball rolling and moving crazy because he needs to.
He needs to, yeah. Because like you said, we 3 weeks away from the start of the season. You know what I'm saying?
We shall see.
Even worse at this point is getting so late. The fact that you're now robbing guys of a true preseason. So you're bringing guys in this late to a brand new team. Number one, you're praying that they're gonna be in shape. Hopefully, whoever they've been playing with or playing for or wherever they've been in good shape and they're ready to go. But then you're trying to bed them into a new squad, patterns of play, learning a system without a preseason, man, and expecting them to come in and have success and your team to have success. That's a lot to ask, even for a professional athlete. That's a lot to ask.
I am starting to get worried, man. We'll have to just see what happens.
Yep, absolutely. No left wing, no forward, no left back cover, championship right backs. And the thing about it is, they're like, I mean, is there a lie in this tweet? I mean, in this comment?
Nah, it's facts. It's depressing.
You know what? I mean, Jordan, I don't think it's doom and gloom.
Jordan,
I don't think it's doom and gloom.
You are crazy. Look at me. You're crazy, bro. We got some work to do, my bro.
I don't think it's doom and gloom. I think I'm more upset with the fact that we're not moving the way that we should. Do I think that we have a decently good squad? Yes, we do in certain areas, but we have gaping holes that we need to actually handle that we haven't yet, and that we don't have a lot of time in order to handle. And I think one of the biggest issues with this team is depth. We have very little depth in a lot of very key areas. Like right now, who starts at right wing for us against Sheffield?
I mean, the thing is,
is it Jez, who's never played in the Premier League?
He has in theory. Technically, he has.
I mean,
but
you know what I mean.
Yeah. You know the thing that frustrates me the most, right, is, and I know a lot of people probably watching this show and channel probably were there as well. We were there at the last game of the season, and Parrish stood there with the microphone in his hand and said, "We are moving to the next level."
Hey, moving to the next level can't mean moving down a level. And that could mean finishing 17, 16.
Well, he should have been a bit more clear, or he should have put a star or a hash under it.
He didn't say we're moving up to the next level. He said we're moving to the next level. And you can change level from mid-table to lower mid relegation scrap. That's a change in level for sure.
Not again. Do you know what, right? I just want to posit. We just need to be set up for the best possible start as possible. And that'll be enough to convince me otherwise. We just have to be. We're not boxing clever right now, and we're just not. Poor Roy is going to have to just do the best he can with what he's got, and then the next thing you know, we're going to end up turning on him.
And if we are boxing clever right now, AJ, we are doing the absolute best Muhammad Ali rope-a-dope impression I've ever seen.
Well, there you go, man.
We are sitting in the corner, taking everything and from everywhere, and then at the last minute, we just got to come out and just come out swinging. It would be the best rope-a-dope I have ever seen. If we are boxing smart.
Deadline day, 5 new players.
Man, look. It would be one of the best performances I have ever seen, bar none.
Stranger things have happened, mate. Stranger things have happened.
Like you said, stranger things have happened. So I mean, we do have some time left, and even with the tight timeline, we still have what we have. When is the dead? When is the window closed? August. It's
basically 1st of December midnight, isn't it? So
first of September, right? Like right
Yeah.
around. So even if the season starts and we're not where we need to be, we still have an entire month to bring more players in. Does that affect how we perform at the beginning of the season? Absolutely, but things can happen. So we'll see. We'll see. But that's gonna do it for today's edition of the show. Appreciate everybody that's tapped in with us today. Everybody that's commented, man. Shout out to all of you out there that have commented today. Grav, Henry, Richard, Kevin, just to Ezzy, Mitch, Jordan, Andy, Caleb, Clive. Appreciate all of you guys tapping in with us, man. Geika, Samuels, all you guys for being here. Di, for taking the time. Dan Ward, Jamal, Andy, Ali the Bear, all you guys for taking time
Right. When
to
we have 1 million subscribers one day, I'm gonna make T read off all those names just
hey,
to.
I'll do one whole show just showing love to everybody. Y'all can send me a picture. I'll flash it up on the screen. We'll shout you out, where you from, all of that, whatever you want, man. Appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in, man. And we'll be back soon with some more news. Hopefully some more concrete and solid news and everything. But forever and always, man, up the palace.